harsh reality behind China's high-speed rail.
Now, China has an impressive and ever-growing network of high-speed trains. In fact, it's probably one of the most impressive in the world, and the best thing about it is they don't talk about it, they do it. So you constantly see new high-speed rails being put into place, new intercity trains, and every year you suddenly have a new option. You can suddenly take the high-speed rail to Guilin, or you can take the high-speed rail to Sichuan or wherever, and it's constantly growing. Unlike in the West, all the bureaucratic red tape, it takes forever, and they talk about making a high-speed rail for 30 years and it never materializes. Over here it does happen. So the high-speed rails are incredibly convenient, and it's a fantastic way to travel around China.
What kind of crap is this?
SideburnsZA. You finally got around to putting out another video.
This is China's high-speed rail. I hope you like your drinks shaken and not stirred.
Well, I will admit, if I take a look on Douyin, I can find several videos of bottles shaking on trains. But they are all CRH5s. CRH5 is an Italian technology. So at this point, you're insulting two countries at the same time. Let's take a closer look at CRH5. In 2004, the Ministry of Railway in China contracted Alstom and CNR Chencheng railway vehicles to produce 60 sets of the train, with a maximum speed of 250 kilometers an hour. They were ordered around the same time as yada yada yada. They talk about 4 different orders, I believe, of a total of 140 sets between 2004 and 2011, I believe, which are pretty much all still in operation through intense maintenance. As to the initial 60 sets, the first 3 were manufactured by Alstom's factory in Italy, and the next 6 were delivered in complete knockdown form and assembled by CNR Chencheng railway vehicle. The remaining 51 sets were built by CNR Chencheng through technology transfer from Alstom of Italy. Oh, by the way, SideburnsZA, I think you know very well, you just don't want your viewers to know that for every one video you find on Douyin of a bottle shaking on a high-speed train, you're going to find hundreds of videos like this. It seems to have become a real thing. Anybody that gets onto a high-speed train in China seems to want to do this and make a video about it. So there's tons of them out there. So how about that? Or how about this one, if you didn't like that one? Check it out. 345 kilometers an hour. This one, the guy seems to be really wanting to prove something here. I will definitely be cutting it short. The guy literally looks like he's timing how long this can go on. The video starts at 16 minutes, so I don't know if he had 16 minutes already on the clock, but I can tell you this, it goes on for quite some time, and I think you know the outcome, so I'm going to skip to the end. I stopped watching at 18 minutes and 45 seconds. I'm not sure how long it went on for. I just had to shut it down, and it's a little bit on the boring side, although it's quite impressive.
During my many journeys on China's high-speed rails,
And you never, ever, let me stick in one more ever, will again.
popular routes are hell to travel on due to the crowds. This is what a normal trip from Guangzhou to Shenzhen looks like during a normal weekday.
Do you know how many people are there? Roughly how many people fit on a train, you dummy. Look at the size of the gate there. And once they get through that, it's not like an airplane where everybody goes through one door. There's multiple doors to get in.
Not to mention the overbearing security checkpoints.
Now, a couple of very interesting points. First of all, they accepted a copy of my passport, because, my passport's in for my visa. So they accepted a copy when I came in, which is a good thing. I was worried about that. Number 2, I'm very surprised, but they let me through security, and I'll tell you why. Because I have with me hammers, tools of spanners and screwdrivers, and I have a battery, oil, epoxy resin, battery charger. I don't think these kind of things, I thought I'd get trouble trying to bring them in, but I guess not.
The constant noise.
Duh! The beeping means the doors are closing.
为了确保列车运行安全。
Safety announcements are required on all public transportation, just like before you take off on an airplane. In China, they have to do it in Mandarin, in Cantonese, and in English. So sometimes it might seem like it's a little bit long. One thing you do in every video is play this stupid background music, a scary background music. You have to ask yourself, is this guy not moving his feet really warrant that kind of music? And what's your obsession with people picking their nose? You actually edit that up there. Look at, you're back here, and then you zoom in on the edit. What the hell's going on there? And this guy should be asking you for royalties. I'm sure you used him in like a dozen videos already. I don't hate the people. I just hate the government. Isn't that what you always say?
If you enjoy secondhand cigarette smoke, you could be lucky enough to have smokers on board your slick high-speed rail journey.
I've been on all kinds of high-speed trains and even slow trains here in China, and that's absolutely incorrect and false. The absolute slowest train, there is a place you can smoke in between cars. None of the other trains allow smoking. Okay, enough talking about all your bitching and complaining, SideburnsZA. You know, I'm just guessing, but I'm thinking, maybe compared to where you come from, maybe China's not such a bad place. Just a guess. But, you know, you do you. So, what your videos and Lao Lies Guy's videos do is they actually expose why the US government wants to put some of their hundreds of millions of dollars of anti-China propaganda money into independent media or influencers. I mean, you guys can say whatever you want and you don't get any backlash for it. And if you look in your comments section, you probably even get praise. The mainstream media can't do that. They can't say whatever they want. I'm gonna play one sample of a mainstream media. Actually, it's the same one you used in your video. And look at the wording they use. They can't use the same kind of words that you guys use. Although they did use the word bury a couple of times. And they're showing excavators. You know, so I guess that's kind of suggestive. And they also use the word or words troubling accusations, which mean absolutely nothing. It means that they didn't do their homework and they're just making stuff up. That's the mainstream media in the United States. And what did you guys change it to?
It was a horrifying scene. One of China's super elite high-speed trains smacked into the back of another train that had stalled, killing 39 people. And now China's government is trying to bury the lead. The crash is not the only story they're trying to bury. There have been troubling accusations that the rush to meet deadlines has come at the expense of safety.
When the high-speed rail collapsed in Wenzhou in 2011, instead of talking about maybe how they could fix the safety standards and how they could maybe improve on things, do you know what they did? Well, they arrested all the people that were talking about it. They tried to cover up all the media that was trying to cover the fact that a train had just derailed and killed a bunch of people. And instead of actually fixing the problem, they brought in bulldozers and earth movers to bury the train cars while people were still inside, to cover it up so that people couldn't see it. And I'm not even joking with you right now. That's exactly what happened.
We saw the third deadliest high-speed train wreck in history in China, in which the Chinese authorities tried to black out the media and actually bury train cars to hide the evidence. Yes, unlike any sensible government which would investigate the wreckage thoroughly, they immediately sent out excavators to dig holes and bury the train cars in a failed attempt of getting away scot-free.
So, I don't know, but neither do you. But some of us get paid for propaganda, and some of us don't. You know, I looked all over the internet. I couldn't find any evidence of those crashed train cars being buried. I mean, but that's a claim that you guys make. I don't know where you get that from. Doesn't seem to be any evidence for that. And, I mean, if you look here, here's an Amtrak train crash. And I can see a backhoe there. It seems to be pretty deep in a hole that it's digging. I mean, what's it doing there? Maybe he's going to bury the train cars. Or at least I could say that, couldn't I? And here's another Amtrak crash here. There's several backhoes there. It turns out maybe for a train crash with these very heavy vehicles, Maybe they need some heavy equipment in there, maybe even to build temporary roads or to move the cars around to get them ready to be lifted. I mean, I don't know, but there's heavy equipment at that Amtrak crash as well. But, I just can't find any actual evidence of any of these cars being buried. Although here's a guy standing on top of looks like a freight car that has been buried maybe for many years, but maybe that's a thing. Maybe they do that. I'm not sure, but like I said, I couldn't find any evidence. I don't know why anybody wouldn't have filmed the cars being in a hole and the hole being filled in.
Newspapers all over the country plastered news of the crash across their front pages.
So that intro shows you that they're talking about the same story. But I think you'll find this next image kind of interesting. Lao Lai's guy told us that they buried the cars. I mean, I don't know, that might be a car? Both you, SideburnsZA, and Lao Lai's guy, you both made videos about trains in China recently. What's wrong with you guys? If you guys want to talk about trains, why don't you take a look in your own backyard?
There are roughly 1,000 cases a year of a train derailing.